Right.
Let's pull up after
Do that. Jesse's mo is bloody delicious as well. Righto, gents, let's dive in. If anyone else jumps in, I'll obviously do what I normally do, where I pause for a moment, let everyone in, because I can't do two things at once. But gents, happy International Men's Day, the 19th of November. Every year is a day, obviously, where we celebrate blokes around the world. We get to celebrate, the good things we're doing in the communities, within our families, and also just those who are doing stuff every day. So make sure you take a moment to acknowledge yourself today. My missus obviously always, and a couple of your partners might believe that every day is International Men's Day, but really play on this one. So acknowledge yourself, but even, call your mates and just let them know something that you truly appreciate about them, because it's a good day for that. Gents, hold on, Joey's jumping on. Thank you guys once again for making the time to get in, and also for those who have left some feedback. We're working hard to get a few of the upgrades coming. The next one looking like will be the app, which is good. And then obviously the group chat feature, I'm testing it out with a few of you lads at the moment. Obviously it doesn't show names and we can't attach links or pictures. So that's still not good enough, I don't think, because I love sending emojis and pictures and stuff like that. So we'll stay with WhatsApp until that's sorted. Ian, your moustache. Wow. Yeah. Crikey.
Mate, I'm on the truck, so I'm just got a call, so I'll put it on mute and just listen.
Yeah, no dramas, mate. No dramas. But once again, gents, thanks for making the time on a Friday. I do appreciate that. And as for last week, we had a heap of good feedback from obviously Gardy putting himself out there with something that's going on in his life, and everyone sort of giving some feedback. Today we were supposed to have George, but unfortunately George's partner's nan passed away literally at like 10 o'clock last night. So that would have been their morning. So he won't be on the call this morning. So if anyone has anything that they feel they want to share, whether it's a scenario or a challenge that they're facing in their life, when we get back from the breakout rooms, you can toss that in there, which would be brilliant. And also other exciting things, obviously with the borders starting to open up, we will be organising some huddles for Melbourne and Sydney, or let's just say Victoria and New South Wales for probably late January. So for those who are in those areas, we'll have some dates coming soon, and touch wood that we don't get banned from doing that in the lead up to that, because that's also still a real possibility, unfortunately. Gents, in the group chat, I've put the thing. So obviously if you've got your game plans on you, where are you at in your game plan? What's going well for you? What's not? We do have I've been chatting with Joey and a few of you guys about with some feedback for the game plan and things that could improve and potentially work better. So we do have an updated game plan coming, but don't stress, that won't be until we launch the new 12-week one on the 17th of January. So if you are thinking of starting one prior to that, just hold out, I would say. Man's Search for Meaning. I know a lot of you guys have flown through that book. I was having a good chat with Joe and Ian about it yesterday. So if anyone else, what did you learn from the book? It's a short, sharp book. It's very, very good. Very similar to Happiest Man on Earth. Some very subtle slaps in the face around how we can look at life and, how lucky we really are. And one question to discuss amongst yourself is, what has been your favorite period of the last decade? This will be interesting. And how can you create or recreate some of that magic over the next year? I'm excited to hear that question from you guys. And when we get back to the main breakout room, guys, if you guys could share, just write in the group chat what your answer is for that. Obviously, you don't have to write out multiple paragraphs. Just give us a quick one-liner. And it'd be interesting to hear where everyone's at with that. Cool. Does anyone have anything they want to share before we go to breakout rooms, gentlemen? No? Cool. All right, we'll see you guys in 20 minutes. All right, let's go. Did everyone get to finish where they were at, or?
Yeah, I think we pretty much wrapped it up.
Yeah.
Solid. Righto, gents. Well, obviously, so we can be mindful of time. We'll rip straight into the next piece. As for those who were on last week, the opportunity is there for someone in the group. You can either ask a question or share a scenario going on in your life, and the group can throw back questions or even challenge you about it. But obviously keep in mind that this is there to be a constructive conversation, not to belittle anyone or to have disagreements, because we're all, I'd say we're all pretty emotionally intelligent blokes. So obviously there can be some questions that challenge people, which is what we want, because that's how we experience growth. And we can also understand what's holding us back potentially. So is there anyone that wants to put their hand up?
Yeah, I might share a little something.
Jay,
I actually went on to the Circle yesterday to put a post up, and then I saw Guardy had put one up like a day or something before it, and it was pretty much the crux of what I was going to write. So I didn't end up doing it, but I sent Guardy a message and said we should catch up. But yeah, over the last, I don't know, maybe like 4 to 5 months, I've been really running myself into the ground. Like I was probably working every weekend at home for, I don't know, 4 months. So I didn't get a day off because I was trying to get heaps of the renovating done before the baby came. And then I was dealing with a super stressful situation at work with this one cunt architect. So it just feels like at work I've been fighting with people for like probably 4 months, which is exhausting just all the time. And what else? Then I started probably overtraining to compensate with the stress. So probably earlier in the year, training was going really well. I was feeling fit and strong. And then I started to get a few little niggles here and there with the body. And with all the stress I was having, I think I then started training like twice a day just to burn off the excess stress. So it was just all pretty much hell for leather from, I don't really know when, maybe like June till recently, right up until we had our son about 8 weeks ago. And then probably haven't had a really good chance to decompress at all. I stopped surfing, stopped skating, just didn't have time to do any of the stuff that made me feel good or really relax. And then on Sunday morning, I had a panic attack, which I used to get them a couple of years ago, but they'd sort of stopped. And then I was on the piss Saturday night, went to a few parties, and then the missus put a few screws in Sunday morning, so I'd stayed out a little bit later than I'd said. And I just went to custard and sort of just fell apart. And I think it was just like a culmination of pretty much the last 6 months or however long it's been, where I've just been pretty much running myself into the ground. So it wasn't a really nice feeling, but I mean, it was good to like get it all out. So I sort of been reflecting on that a little bit since, and sought out a psychologist, like a performance psychologist that I went and saw yesterday, which was quite a good experience actually. So I have seen a psychologist before, maybe like 3 years ago, and it was just really, I didn't gel with her. It was a weird sort of vibe, but so I'd sort of like said, it's not, psychologists aren't really for me, but I think I just hadn't found the right one. So I had quite a good experience with this one yesterday for the first session. So I'm hoping that will be good moving forward for a bit. So that's about it, lads. That's the run of it.
What'd you learn since reflecting on it? Oh, you go in, or whoever's going.
So I was just going to say that thanks for saying it. Open up about that, Jez. I just listening to Guardy's message the other day and things like that. A lot of the comments that put up by people, you realise that you're not, when you're thinking the same way, that a lot of the time you're not Robinson Crusoe. Like there's so many people have the same sort of issues, and it's really great that in this forum we can actually open up about these sort of problems we have and realise that you're not strange because you feel a certain way. So yeah, I just wanted to say good on you, mate, for opening up and tell us how you feel, because it's it's a big thing to do that, something like that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think like you get, I don't know about you guys, but I definitely get caught up in the moment and sort of don't even realize what's happening to me sometimes, like, you know, mentally fatigued and exhausted, but you're just so focused on whatever you're doing, you just sort of like push it to the side and you don't even realize. And then you sort of get to an event and it's too late yet because you haven't dealt with any of the stuff. And then it's just like full meltdown status for me anyway.
Yeah, like me and Lockie were talking last night. We both feel probably a little bit guilty that we didn't probably speak up a bit more to you as well, because we knew that you were cooking yourself. We probably just, like, I certainly gave you a fair few nudges, but I probably could have been a whole lot more direct with telling you that you need to ease up. But yeah, anyway,
I probably wouldn't have listened at the time anyway. So
yeah, that's right. So it's like the writing was on the wall. Now that we can look back, that something was going to give, and unfortunately, you had to have a bit of a panic attack to realise that you were not looking after yourself. So hopefully, you can find those cues in the future a bit easier, that you're starting to go downhill a bit, and sort it out.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Yeah, I will just quick, Jez, what do you reckon you would do differently next time?
I'm still trying to work out exactly what the warning signs are so I can sort of recognize it a bit better next time before it gets to that. But I mean, I was definitely exhausting myself mentally, and by not doing any of the things that made me feel good. Like surfing is definitely, if I get a surfing every week, I'm pretty good, because it's just a massive relaxant for me. So I'd stopped doing that. So I wasn't looking after myself mentally. So I think like definitely making time for yourself, you know, at least trying to do one thing a week that makes you feel really good and is a good stress reliever for you, whatever that might be. It could be like reading, it could be going for a walk, could be going for a run, or whatever, making sure you do that. And then I think I was definitely overtraining. So putting all that excess, the physical overexertion, I think it was just like the perfect storm. So I think a bit more moderation across all fronts from me would be a good way to start.
Yeah, that's what I observed from you, obviously, when you were getting swole and you were seeing heaps of progress in the gym. Then you jumped it up to 2 sessions a week. And obviously, you know, you run a business, you just had a young family, like the stress was just compounding on you, and you looked like a fucking zombie, mate. Your eyes were red. It's like you had pink eye. But then, yeah, you know, to try and fit everything in. And I think this is a good thing for everyone to be aware of. Obviously, you know, we talk a lot about making time for your morning routines and time to do certain other things that are of importance to you. But one thing that I think we all need to be mindful of is, as situations or events in our life pop up, we need to learn to balance. And sometimes we need to get rid of things. It might mean, you know, you can't do your reading in the morning, or you can't get up at because you get up at 3:34, Jazz, which is ridiculous. Like, sleep's the most important thing we got to function well. So, you know, as we're taking on more responsibility in other areas, we need to work out in order of priority what is that priority for us, so we don't burn out, because you can only do so much in a day. And the more things you try to do, the less you're going to do them well. So obviously, you know, that self-care basket for all of us blokes is an important one, because without us, you know, looking after ourselves, we are going to combust at some point, and it's either going to be a panic attack, or it might be a flying off the rail at your partner or at an employee or various other things like that. So it's making sure that we fill the cup up. But as Gardy was saying, like, yeah, we both probably definitely could have given you a bit of you didn't need a nudge to the face, because you did that well yourself with the scooter, but just to pull you back into line, to hopefully get you to look at things objectively.
Yeah, and I think that's something I'm going to work on over the next sort of towards the end of the year, really just want to focus on, what can I do in my week, like with my routine to still like get fit and feel good, but not overdo it, both physically and mentally. So that's probably what I'll be working on up towards the end of the year.
It's the time.
And fitness might have changed for you as well, mate. Like, because now that you don't have, like, it's the same when I wasn't working as much. I used to train 4 hours a day. So for me to expect to be as fit as I was back then is ridiculous, because I trained maybe 50 minutes a day, if that.
Yeah.
And so we got to learn to let go of parts of ourselves, and as we grow and evolve. And that's probably one of the hardest parts to accept, is because we want to be the fucking king at everything. That's our ego. Not that you have an ego, Jazz, but maybe you do.
Maybe there's a little one.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything they want to add to Jazz, whether you've been through similar experiences, or how you see it? Because remember, guys, you also, and I know myself and Guard Dog as well, and anyone else, I'm not sitting here saying I've nailed this, because I was speaking with Jazz and Guardy. I'm in the same boat where I'm burning the candle. But I think when I know what I need to be improving on, it's just acting on it, right? So if anyone has anything that maybe you would do differently or throw out there.
I was just going to say, I think it's particularly in this group, it's quite natural, because I think we all want more, right? Or we all want to be high achievers. So as you're saying, like, there's the reality of life is some things in your day that you just have to do. Like, we all have to go to work to get money to live. Like, that's just part and parcel of living. So what you do outside that, or what you can do by choice, rather than trying to do 10 things, just pick one or two and do them well. Like, to use, I don't know, for lack of a better term, like, think about quality over quantity, I think is the key. So yeah, I think we've all been there, maybe not to that extent, but we've all felt burnout and like, shit, I'm just trying to do too much. So just taking that step back and realizing what is important to you and why goes a big way to sort of that clarity of mind, I guess.
Yeah, agreed.
What's one thing you could do if you feel that wound up feeling again?
I had that catch up with the psychologist yesterday, and she just gave me, like, didn't want to overload me yesterday, just initially gave me just this technique called tapping, just with tapping like different energy points on your body. And she's like, because I'm going to see her again in 2 weeks, she was just like, if you feel any of that same stuff coming on in the next 2 weeks, just try and take a minute, do this tapping exercise, and just like recognize the feelings, and just be like, oh, okay, you're feeling like wound up with a particular architect. Like, don't go and hit him. Just try and settle down and just like recognize that you're having the feelings. Like, don't do anything with them, but just like tap these, and what are they, like energy points? So there's one there's one on your head and things. So she was just like, try that, and then so that's like, I guess, an initial thing that I can do, and then we'll be delving a bit deeper in the coming weeks. So stay tuned.
Sweet. We'll get you on the podcast, mate. Give us a week by week update.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, Jez. Does anyone else have anything that you want to throw out there?
Yeah, just quickly, Lockie and Jez, thanks for speaking up. Really powerful what you said there, mate. And we're all here for you. I think we've probably all been in similar situations. I know I have. And probably the most powerful thing that you said that struck a chord with me was you said you started, or you stopped doing the things that you really enjoyed. And for me, that's a big sign that I'm not on track. If I start making sacrifices with the things that make me me and make me feel like I'm, happy and relaxed, that's usually a sign that things are going a bit south mentally. And I think for all of us, super important to, if you've got something you do, whether it's, you mentioned surfing, everyone knows for me it's boxing, it could be reading, anything that you do that gives you joy and makes you feel like your authentic self. You've got to find the time to do that. The other thing that really struck me, mate, was sounds like you had a bunch on your plate, a new baby, renovating, working your own business. Like that's heaps going on in anyone's language. And I think once again, just speaking for myself, when change comes, we find comfort in routine and the things that we do. So a bit of a trait for men to often get lost in exercise or whatever it is that we can go and sort of burn off some of that energy. So that's probably a good sign for all of us as well. If we start to find that we're putting too much energy into something like that, maybe step back and reach out to someone like you've done to a psychologist or someone in the group and just say, hey, need a hand with this sort of thing, because it can be that sign that things are going to go a bit off track. But it sounds like you're doing awesome now, mate. That psychologist and the tapping, that'll be interesting. So I've done a little bit of that before, and it just sort of gets you out of that moment and makes you think about other things.
Yeah, no, thanks, mate. It's good. The other thing too, I was just thinking about is I'd like fallen off with this group too, which I should have been more engaged in the group when I was like feeling stressed and, you know, all wound up. But I just fell off. Like, wasn't getting into the calls, like missing training sessions and things like that. So that's probably something else for anyone else in the group that's feeling that way. Like, you know, try and leverage the group. That's why we're in it. Don't just like fall off and hide, which I probably did for a while.
And that's probably where we can all step up as well. If you notice someone missing, like in a few consecutive weeks, like reach out to them. You know, because I think it's always better having other members reach out rather than just me all the time. Because I think it's nice when someone that you don't expect to reach out reaches out for you. It shows the care that's in the community. I know everyone cares, but it's that initial action step between the thought and actually doing something there, which is important. I know who reached out to you, Jared, before? Was it Bretto or
Ross sent me a message.
Yeah. So like,
we're in the same area in Cooperoo, so looking forward to catching up for a coffee, mate.
You're on mute, Roscoe.
Oh, right, yeah, definitely, mate.
Yeah, so just even doing that sort of stuff, and obviously, gents, when we're launching into the new year, there's going to be a lot more face-to-face catch-ups because obviously we want to keep building that community, and once the restrictions piss off, that'll be brilliant. What's Guardy written here? Morning routine is important to set up your day. Flying out the door with a piece of toast and your shirt half buttoned. Set your day up for the same chaos. Start the day slow and considered, and the day will go the same. Justin said, I've dealt with panic attacks, mate, in the overwhelm of you want to chat about management of such. Overwhelm.
Lockie, sounds like you're on the right track, Jezza. Like being just aware of how you're feeling. That's what I found the first step, probably, to understanding how you're feeling, is because obviously a lot of people don't realise the fact that you've actually made yourself aware of how you're feeling.
Yeah, well, just like reflecting back now on that period, I was like, fuck, I was not okay. I was constantly wound up. So it's easy now in hindsight, but at the I think you're right. Like, it's just about recognizing it, because at the time you're just so caught up in what's going on. Yeah. It's a bit harder to recognize, but yeah.
This is why. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, in regards to that catching up, Heath and Ryan and I are having dinner on Sunday night together, and a lot of us keep in touch online regularly. And I found that program where we're assigned a person to speak to was really good. Ross and I spoke the other day for about half an hour. It's really rewarding, to realise, to communicate the way we do. So yeah, I get a lot out of that. So I'm really looking forward to catching up with the boys in Victoria shortly. So yeah, it's going to be good.
Gents, I will do that again this week. I'm about to throw you in a quick group chat. It'll be 2 people. Get their number or their whatever, however you want to communicate, and just catch up with them this week. See you in a second. Something's not working here.
How's everybody's mows gone? Looking good?
Yeah, they're a bit seedy, aren't they?
Yeah, mate, I look like an out-of-work porn star.
Well, I think
Mate,
it was,
lockdown's
my
over. You
mows
could be
There's
able
a
to find
couple of
any
there's a
work,
couple
mate.
of Ron Jeremy mows.
Yeah.
My mow was pathetic. I chopped it off last night.
Did you?
I got.
Hello?
So, bro, that only took 10 minutes for me to pull you out of that fucking.
I popped out. I'm
Yeah,
supposed
no.
to be with Dave and Bretto.
Yeah, I was pulling you out because Joey's computer shut itself, and I was going to part you with Joey.
Oh,
So,
okay, right.
so you'll be with Joey. I'm just texting Joey's your number now.
Okay, cool.
How do you feel, bro?
Yeah, I feel good actually. It's good to get it off the chest.
Bloody oath. It feels fucking next level. It's so funny
actually
because I know there's like 4 of us experiencing the same shit that you're
Yeah,
experiencing.
because I logged onto Circle yesterday and Gardy had already posted. I was like, what the fuck? I was about to write exactly the same thing.
You should have just written a newer and better version. Just to fucking nail it.
So the boys are just not looking after themselves.
Nah, they're fucking useless. And you'll probably go through it again, much like I keep going through it.
Yeah.
It's like a circle. It's like a fucking every quarter it's coming.
Yeah. I think the important thing is being able to recognize it and then do something about it. Like life's not always going to be smooth sailing, but just not letting it get to that really bad point.
Yeah, 100%. Because you need to challenge yourself as well. Otherwise, you're not going to fucking do anything different.
Yeah. I think one of the boys said it. Like most of the guys in this group, or a lot of them are, striving for excellence in a lot of areas of their life, and that doesn't always come easy. So it's always it's always work. So I mean, people like that are always going to have stress and concerns and things. So I think it's just about trying to look after yourself.
100%. 100%.
Kick back in there.
Everyone's good with numbers and everything like that?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Cool. That's a great idea.
Jez, where did you go?
Oh, Lockie put me in with Joey, but I got both your numbers anyway, so I'll save them.
Just call
Awesome.
everyone. Go to town. Just spend a full day on the blower. Gents, you'll see in the circle thing here now as well, the events features up and running. So I'll be slowly adding more events plus face-to-face events and stuff for the next 12 months. So anything that's sort of interest of you, go in there and you can click on it and just hit going or not going, because then you'll get notified reminders and everything like that. So you can make sure you don't miss them. Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Right, gentlemen.
That week of the Christmas party, I've got another 3 lined up. It's like, that week before Christmas is just going to be epic.
Chaos.
Danger.
Yep. It'll be awesome fun, mate.
Oh, yeah. Great fun.
Just pace yourself.
That's the thing.
Righto, gentlemen. We'll have a ripper Friday and a ripper weekend, and I'll see you all on the call next week. And obviously reach out to your mate, but also reach out to other members in the community that maybe you don't know. Just send them a message off Circle just to check in, or even if you've got other blokes' numbers that you've spoken to in the past, just to check in, because obviously, as I say, there's, every week we get consistently 15 to sort of 20 blokes. There's 72 blokes in here now. So obviously life gets busy. There's some people on daylight savings, I understand that, but then there's also some people who go missing, and it's a simple text or phone call that can reinvigorate them. Sweet. Righto, gentlemen. Have a